Hey there, this is another episode of the Visual Mind podcast. I decided to upload these episodes to YouTube as well so that more people can listen to them. There are no visuals in this podcast, so you can just listen to them alongside painting, doing the chores, or whatever you have to do. Also, if you have a business, I offer coaching for artists now and I help them build their businesses. A coach will help you get your results much quicker. It's also the best tool to launch your creative business or to help along the way. You significantly increase your chance to be able to make a living with your art, and you will learn how to show up even when you're scared. If you're interested in coaching, sign up until March 31st because the doors will close after that, and I will keep you updated when the doors open again in the future. But if you want to be coached now, then go ahead and do it, and also be quick because there's limited capacity. Again, the link is in the description box below. And now I hope that you enjoyed the episode. Hey there, and welcome to the very first episode of the Visual Mind podcast. I'm so excited to talk to you, and this podcast will be about all of the things that go on behind the scenes if you have an art business. I really want to help other artists build a successful art business and share everything that I have learned so far along the way and really help others to get going and to be inspired and to really get things done. And so in the first episode, I wanted to talk about Skillshare because it has been the biggest income in my business so far, and I have made most of my money on Skillshare, and I wanted to share with you how you can teach on Skillshare as well and earn the first $1,000 a month and just to get going with your art business. And so here's everything that I have learned on Skillshare. My first tip would be to teach something that you're really excited about, because people can really tell if you like the subject or not. And if you only pick something because you think that you have to do it for some reason or people are looking for it, but you don't really care about it, it's not a good idea, because on Skillshare you can do whatever you want. That's the fun part about it. Every topic that's somehow creative or business related, there are so many topics on there. You can really pick something that you are so excited about and just talk about that, and people will know that you love it. My first Skillshare course was about sketchbooks, and I really didn't have any professional advice about sketchbooks, about how to fill a sketchbook, but I just really loved sketchbooks, and I really loved filling it and had so much fun. And by that time I had already filled a lot of sketchbooks, and so I just did that because it was so much fun for me. The next tip is to make sure that your classes have good quality, and I know that's kind of a no-brainer because you want to make it the best quality that you can, but you obviously have to start somewhere and don't want to buy very expensive equipment at first, and I totally get that, but I would just say focus on your audio, because people tend to forget that, and it's very important that you have good audio, especially when it comes to Skillshare and courses like that, because a lot of people will just watch them and not even look so much on the screen, but just listen to what you're saying, and it's super annoying if someone has bad audio quality, and it's just very important. I've also learned that from my YouTube channel. So I'd say invest in a mic before you start investing in a good camera. So if you don't already have a good mic, then go ahead and buy one. I have a Rode mic, and I record all my voiceovers as well as this podcast just on my camera. I plug the Rode mic into the camera and record a video, and then I just get rid of the visuals. So I will link my products in the show notes somewhere, all my equipment, in case you want to check that out. I just recommend investing in good audio. Then the next tip is to tell all your friends and family to sign up with your referral link and to watch the course and maybe even write a review. So when someone signs up with your referral link, you get $10, which is amazing because that stacks up quite easily, and you can easily earn a few $100s if enough people sign up. So this is a really good idea to earn money. You can make good money with watch minutes as well, but referral links are a really good idea, especially in the beginning. So I'd really say get your friends and family involved, because they will help you just build the first momentum so that people know that your courses are already being watched, so that you have this social proof. They know that your classes are good because someone has watched them. Even if those are your friends and family, it really doesn't matter. Just tell them to watch your class and maybe write a comment or even a review and just engage in it, and they can quit the free membership anytime after that. So I'd say just do that and don't feel afraid to ask them, because chances are that they really want to support you, and if someone doesn't, that's okay. But if someone really loves you and you make it a compelling thing to that it is valuable to you if they help you, chances are that they will. So I'd say if that is out of your comfort zone, then especially do that. The next one is pretty self-explanatory, I think, as well, and it is to make your thumbnail look great. But it's not like on YouTube where you just pick one thumbnail and that's it, because Skillshare classes come in sections, so you have different videos for every section, and I'd say make a good thumbnail for every section, but especially the first one, the intro teaser, needs a really good thumbnail, because this is the one that people are going to see when they search for your class. So I'd say make sure that this one looks the best and kind of represents your course as best as possible. Then the next one is to post about your course on social media, and ideally you've already built a community there. If you have a following on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, wherever, just lead the people to your Skillshare course. I'd say do it by offering some kind of value on the platform, and then say, if you want more information, then go to my Skillshare class. I've had a really good success with YouTube because I have done videos, for example, I've done a gouache tutorial that was really successful, and then in this gouache tutorial I mentioned that I have a new Skillshare class about gouache, and then I linked the class in the description of the video, and actually a lot of people signed up for the class and watched it because they had seen the gouache video and gotten great value from it and really liked it, and so they decided they want to know more, and then they went on to my Skillshare course and went on to watch that. But if you don't have a big following yet, I really recommend building that and building a community on any platform, and focus on one platform primarily and just build your community there. But if you don't have one yet, also a good way to promote things is to go into Facebook groups, and they all have different rules, and some of them really hate it if you self-promote, especially if it's something like Skillshare where you get money from it. But there are Facebook groups who let you do that. So I'd say check out the rules and just try it. I mean, the worst that can happen is that they kick you out of the group, and if you don't really love that group too much, just go ahead and try it, and just don't be too spammy. Again, offer people some value, maybe share your best advice or tips about a certain topic that your Skillshare course is about, and then say if people want to know more, they can head on over to your Skillshare course. Just offer some value, don't be too spammy, and yeah, you can use Facebook groups for that. I've used that and it's a great opportunity. Then once you're done with your first course, obviously promote the hell out of that. but also already think about producing the next course because you want to get into the habit of being a Skillshare teacher and teach multiple courses and not just one. So at first, start with your course, with your first one, then actually finish it. Yes, I say finish it and not think about the next one while you're still doing the first one. But after you have finished and promoted your first course, then start thinking about the next one, because we really want to get into the habit of creating more than one course. Then the next one is kind of an art in itself, and it's to find a niche that people are actually looking for. And I think that's kind of hard, but if you manage to nail that, you have won the lottery and people will watch your course. And I'd say ask yourself a few questions like, what do you wish that would already exist? Or what would your former self have needed, but you couldn't find it? And I found that I was really interested in sketchbook videos and tutorials, and I was so excited about that topic, but there wasn't a lot out there about it when I first started, and so I decided to do that. And then again with gouache, I found that it's super hard to find a real beginner's guide where you can find out everything that you need in the beginning, and so I created a beginner's guide about gouache. But I also did some passion projects on Skillshare. I did a floral course just because I really love watercolor florals, but that one didn't go as well because people have already seen that and there's already a lot of floral stuff out there, and so this course didn't go as well as some of my other courses. So I'd say if you can really nail it in terms of creating something that isn't already out there, you're really far ahead of the game and you will gain traffic with that. So if you can just invest a little bit into thinking about that, don't over research. We really want you to get going, and your class doesn't have to be perfect and the topic doesn't have to be perfect either. But if you just invest a little bit of time into that, that's amazing. And yeah. The next one is to watch some courses before you create your own, just to get a better sense of it, because it really helps to just get to know the platform at first and see what people are actually doing there. And that's a mistake that I had made with Patreon when I first launched it, because I hadn't supported anyone on Patreon at that time, and I really didn't know a lot about the platform because I didn't use it myself, and so I really didn't know the ins and outs of it and didn't really have a feeling that I understood the platform as much. And so my first Patreon launch failed and nobody signed up, and I will talk about that in a different podcast episode because I think that it's very, very valuable, and now I have a Patreon that works with people actually in there. So I do the same with Skillshare. Just check out the platform beforehand, get a feeling of whether you really like it or not. I mean, you can earn good money as an artist there, and that's a really good reason to be there, but you also kind of need to like the platform in order to succeed on there, because if you don't really like the way it is set up, then it maybe isn't the best way for you to create something on there. So I'd say just check out classes that you're interested in, maybe in the niche that you are in, but also maybe in a different niche, just to get some inspiration outside of your own niche. I think that that's a really good idea always, to just look outside of your own bubble and see what others are doing, and just get ideas from there and then implement them into your own area of expertise, so that you can really broaden everything that you can offer. So really maybe watch 2 or 3 Skillshare classes before you get going if you haven't done that yet. But make sure that you don't end up comparing yourself with others too much, because they might have been doing that for a long time now, and you might just be starting out, and maybe you've never created a video course before, and so don't compare yourself with them. Just get inspired in terms of see how they set up their courses. Try to implement a few of the things that you can find. But don't be too perfectionistic, is that a word, about it, and just get going and create your first class. I think there's a kind of balance that you need to find between trying to make really good quality content, but also not overdoing it, because at first I found that I really had to get started to do something and to get over my perfectionism, and that's a really important thing to do if you regularly want to create content, especially if you're an artist. You really have to get in the habit of finishing things even though they're not perfect. So I'd say just start somewhere and then keep on improving your content. But with Skillshare, the quality level has to be just slightly higher than if you would start on another platform that's free, like YouTube. I think on YouTube you can really start with the shittiest videos and upload them. But on Skillshare, you have to start with some kind of quality, but it still doesn't have to be perfect. So I think that a good idea is to start maybe doing videos on another platform at first to just get a feel of video. If you were planning on creating a YouTube channel for a while now, I'd say definitely do that, because you will get into the habit of doing that. Maybe even build an audience on there that you can lead to your Skillshare course. But you can also use other platforms like TikTok. I found that TikTok is really great for artists who are just starting out, but it's really different in creating a TikTok video compared to a real course that where a lot more has to go into it, a lot more technical things. But if you just want to get some momentum in creating stuff and have never created something, I'd say maybe do those things first, but give yourself a deadline. Say you will focus on training yourself to become better at video for like a month, and then after that your first Skillshare course has to be there, or you have 1 or 2 weeks to create your first Skillshare course after that. Because if you don't have a deadline, you will end up procrastinating on that and not do it. At least if you are like me, you really have to get things done, so you don't talk yourself out of it. And but it's really a good idea to have some momentum already built up, so you have more confidence on camera or however you are creating your course. And because on Skillshare, I think that you have to talk in your courses. You can obviously do voiceovers and people don't have to see you, but I think that you have to talk. You can't just put text over there, and I really wouldn't recommend putting text over there. So if you aren't in the habit of talking, I really had to practice that, and I've been on YouTube for 2.5 years now, and also English isn't my first language, so it was really hard for me at first to talk for longer periods of times, and also because I didn't know a lot of the words, or at least they didn't come to my mind at the moment where I was talking. And then later on I was like, oh my god, that was the word, obviously. So I really had to practice that and become better at that, and I didn't really expect people to like my content because I wasn't good at that yet, but I was committed to learning. And I think you always have to be committed to learning and to practicing, and yeah, you can really do that and improve, but it's a marathon rather than a sprint. So expect that it will take time to build a Skillshare course or just build an art business in general, because you have to build something. And if you don't already have a community I really, really recommend building that. I think that you can succeed on Skillshare as well if you don't have a community, but you really have to nail it on the niche thing where you create something that people are looking for that isn't already out there. Because if you don't, otherwise you will compete with all the people who have a community, and then it will be harder. But you can definitely do it, and you have to start somewhere. And if I had to make a plan for you, if you don't have any community at the moment, and you have never made a video, then I would say for a month create at least 4 videos or 5, like 1 video a week, and upload it to YouTube or whatever platform that you use, just to get in the habit of creating a video. Make those short, like 10 minutes, not more. Just don't overthink it, and just get those out there. Start creating and make something. And then after that month, give yourself 2 weeks to create a Skillshare course and to actually publish that, and then promote it on your new YouTube account or wherever you have uploaded your videos. So you really get into the habit of creating, and you have a deadline, so you can't really just procrastinate and just do anything other than creating. And so yeah, make your deadlines non-negotiable. Be kind to yourself in terms of your deadlines. If you set something, then actually do it. And I think the most important thing is to just get started and to also finish stuff. So actually finish your course. Don't halfway through it think that it isn't good enough and stop, because I've had that with every single of my Skillshare courses. By now it's gotten a little bit better, but at first, the first few classes, I always had the feeling that they weren't good enough, and I really, really didn't want to finish them, and I really didn't want to publish them. So I had to push through that feeling and just keep going. And my first class, people really liked it, even though I thought that it was super flawed and not good enough, and I put so much effort into that class and still thought that it wasn't good enough. But people really liked it, so it really doesn't matter. And even if people wouldn't have liked it, I would have just kept going and create the next class and make it even better. So I'd say expect that you will have those emotions, expect that you will have resistance, just expect that your brain is going to lie to you and tell you that it isn't good enough, because I feel like most people have that, and it's just completely normal. And people who are successful aren't the ones who don't have that voice. They are the ones who manage to push through and just create something anyways. And I know it's really tempting to want to wait until that voice is gone. And especially if you start on another platform like YouTube, it's very tempting to do that for a very, very, very long time until you start your first Skillshare course. But just do it, give yourself a deadline, and you have to do it by then, whether you want to or not, whether it's good enough or not. Better finished than good. Just keep going, keep creating, keep improving and learning, and get yourself out there and have some fun while you're at it. You can really enjoy the process and enjoy creating something, even though you won't always feel comfortable while doing that. It's still fun, especially if you have picked a topic that you really like and are really excited about. Just enjoy creating something about that, even though it might be uncomfortable at times. So those were all my most important tips. If you have any questions about Skillshare, feel free to reach out to me if you have any requests for topics that I could do on my podcast in the future. Let me know as well. If you want a 2 months for free trial on Skillshare, check out my link. I always have that linked in my bio on Instagram, on YouTube. I will try to link it in the show notes here on the podcast as well. You can find that literally everywhere. And with the link, you get 2 months for free, so you can get started and watch your first few classes in order to get to know the platform, and you won't have invested a single dollar because you have signed up for free. So make sure to check that out, and I will try to link all the things somewhere. I still have to figure out how everything works. So I really hope that you liked the first episode. Let me know what you thought about it. Give me some feedback if you want to. And I hope you're having a nice day. And until next time, goodbye. I really hope that you enjoyed this episode. Again, if you want art business coaching, check out the link in my bio and sign up until the 31st of March 2021. And if you're listening to this in the future and this date has already passed, check out my website to see if coaching is currently available, and I'll probably offer a waiting list as well. I hope you're having a nice day. Goodbye.